Alright folks, let's get this show on the road. I try to start this a little bit earlier every night because waiting around till midnight makes me stay up really late. I'm also going to try to cut down a little bit on just how long these streams go. I tend to get really interested in talking to people, and so I make things go longer than they should. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is maybe I'll set a timer on my phone for like 45 minutes or something. And that's going to be the limit. That way we're not here all night. We can just talk about stuff and have fun. So it didn't get to stream last night because my daughter felt like staying up till 1:30. Which happens. She had fun. So watched The Last Jedi first time in about 2 years. I watched it again last year and I was like, you know, this is like such a bizarre surrealist movie. It's like a weird Star Wars nightmare. It's like I kind of like it from that perspective because it's so bizarre. It's like, hey, should I skip any of the Disney trilogy? I'm like, you should only watch The Last Jedi because it's weird as hell. It's such a strange and bad movie in so many ways. It's like some kind of, it's like some kind of, I never realized how boring it was before. There's, you mistake a chase for like plot tension because the truth is like we don't really have that much to resolve, which is why things just kind of come out of nowhere sometimes. But yeah, it's like aesthetically a bizarre, I don't know what to call it, like a transposition of Star Wars aesthetics. Very weird. Anyway, maybe we'll go ahead and hop in and we'll play some Final Fantasy 2. That should be fun. Yeah, it's like the anti-Star Wars. Hey, what's up, Brian? So it's kind of fun about it. So yeah, GameStop stock. It's like 2 nights ago. People were like, have you seen what's going on in GameStop stock? I'm like, yeah, I saw it was like going up. I didn't know what was going on. So if you want the story, it's really funny because the media is either retarded or, well, I mean, I don't know how much you can blame somebody for being inept, right? At a certain point, they have to be acting maliciously. They're either malicious or they're inept. And the reason is it's like they're blaming, they're like blaming Gamergate and Trump for this. It's like, it's Trumpism. Trumpism's causing it. It's like, it's going to be 2050. CNN will still be blaming things on Trump. Everything that is against their interests is from the mighty, immortal Donald Trump. He like lives for free in their heads. I'm just gonna level up some magic real quick while we talk. This is an easy way to level up magic: is just go around and use magic until you're out of mana, and then go state it in. You'll level up your magic pretty good. It's a really easy way to just like get some magic levels before doing something harder. So yeah, it could be both. Like it's a combination of ineptness and evil. It's like a brutal combination. It's like, are you inept or merely evil? We'll do Berserk, and you can do some of these other ones. I think Fire is like the main one I'm focusing on for these guys, and we can do Protect. Let's see if any of those come off. So yeah, it's like what happened was, a bunch of individuals decided that they were going to buy GameStop stock because they felt like there was a short going on, and so that's a great time to buy it. If you can buy enough of it and hold it, then the price will go up instead of down. So you're just making the person who is going to be saying that, if you don't know what shorting stock is, the summation is it's betting against the market, but it's actually like this: I will deliver to you X shares of this stock in 10 days at this price. Now, why would they offer that? Why would you offer something which you don't have? Well, because you intend to buy it in between the time that you're going to deliver it and the time that you make the deal, and presumably the price will be lower when you buy it, so you make a profit. That's the idea of shorting in a nutshell. No, we don't want to. Let's try Shell. We want to level some of these up. So that's it. If enough people buy the stock and hold it and don't sell it, then the stock that you promised to deliver in X number of days doesn't exist. It's not on the market for you to buy. Or it's so expensive to buy that you're going to take a loss. So anything that it could be that there's not enough stock to buy, or it could be that the stock price goes up, doesn't really matter because both of them indicate a scarcity of the stock compared to what is normally there. It's kind of interesting. I have buys pending of 30 AMC, 50 Nokia, and 20 Naked Brand. All of them are under $20 right now. Nokia might be an interesting one. Redditors were called far-right supremacists. Yeah, it's because it's just a way to label whoever is not you. So if it's like, oh, these people aren't me, they must be bad guys. So, white supremacists. Anti-Semites. Whatever the name is going to be. They're Gamergaters and Trumpers. They're going to be calling people Nazis in the year 2100. We're rapidly approaching the time where calling someone a Nazi is literally a 100-year-old political slur. You know? It's like this political party is literally 100 years old now. So if you're calling someone it's the equivalent of calling someone a Whig or something at this point. You're a disestablishmentarian. It's like, who even remembers what these things are at this point? Clearly the people calling people Nazis actually don't know what a Nazi is. I.e. a National Socialist. People for the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Yeah, boomers watch the legacy media and they're dying out and becoming demented. Now here's another story, which was dude who made a joke meme that, you know, you can vote via text message, got arrested and is facing 15 years in prison for like denying people their right to vote. Now, people on the Democrat side did the exact same thing in 2016. This is from 2016. This is not like 2020. This is 2016. So if you make a joke on social media, if you do something satirical and funny, and somebody believes it, then you could go to federal pound me in the ass prison for 15 years. Think about that for a minute. What? Somebody was so retarded about the way voting works, they shouldn't have voted. And what did you do? You convinced them not to. These are people that shouldn't. A ballot should go nowhere near these people. They're too retarded to vote. Like you can't really believe in political franchise for children and madmen, right? You don't, just like we don't believe in freedom for children and madmen. You don't really believe in political enfranchisement for children and madmen either. So these are people that are literally too stupid to vote. And if they believe that they could vote by text, then they shouldn't be voting anyway. This is one of those things where I'm like, we don't have a democracy, and if we did, it's bad. Fire. I have a kind of double audio here. It's actually, we'll kill one of those. Just have this audio. That'll work. Wow, this is late. I'm almost 4 p.m. where I live. Well, konnichiwa. Good afternoon. I don't know where you're at, but it's 4 p.m. You've got to be like somewhere like, yeah, you got to be in like New Zealand or something. Oi, mate, you tell a joke. That's not allowed, mate. Off to the cake with you, bruv. And more like, oh yeah, you have plenty time to tell jokes about stupid voters in Gulag. Oh, you make cozy thread on B. We have on good authority you made a cozy thread on B 7 years ago. It'd be very cozy in Gulag for you. Mainly want to level up my destruction magic because I'm feeling I'm going to need it in the next little dungeon here. Britain is the single most boring, bland, and depressing place I've ever stepped foot in. Nazis will become like the Futurama episode where robots made so much anti-human propaganda that they lost track of what was real and what they made up. We need to distract people from a crippling lug nut shortage and an incompetent circle of robot elders. Berserk again. Let's see, she's still got a lot of MP. Level up stun. So this is basically how you level up magic, is you just cast it. And then you get more levels of it. And it costs more and it does more damage. But you have more MP by using more magic, so it all kind of works out. Archer English accent. I can do a bunch of them. Do an English farmer accent. Miss Gardner. Or like Hagrid. Hagrid has that like country accent. Right, shouldn't have said that. Guess blink. Fire. Yeah, do care. The cities in England are horrendous, but the countryside is beautiful. Yeah, I live in Worcestershire and I love the nature reserves near me. Yeah, I mean, that is the same as California, right? So, I live in California and people are like, how could you live in California? There's shit on the streets. How do you just walk down the street stepping in human feces? It's like, bro, that's like 2 streets in San Francisco. Now like 8 streets in San Francisco. And like, you know, Skid Row in LA. That's like 1/100th of 1% of California is like that. Yeah, I live in the country. California is still like 95% uninhabited. You know, it's just empty space. Most of the... It's like, well, it's the most populous state in the Union. It's like, and it's still mostly empty space. Let's see here. We want to level up Protect real quick. So yeah, I mean, the California countryside's beautiful. We have the biggest trees, and we have the biggest farms, and I live in farmland. I was checking on my chickens earlier, and it's so rainy and cold right now, but they're like all puffed up in their coop, like standing together. Yesterday I had to like shut them up in the coop and like pack them up. Because it was so cold. I have family in Bristol, and it's a concrete jungle. I've been to Brighton, I've been to Bristol. Yeah, every city's kind of like that. I remember, maybe it was Maddox, if you guys remember that Joker, years ago. It's like, everybody thinks New York is special. It's like, here's a bunch of pictures. It's like, these are all New York. It's like, no, these are like 10 random cities from the world. They all look the same, guys. New York doesn't look that special when you get down to it. Most of New York looks the same as every other city in the US, as every other city in Canada, as most of the cities in Europe, right? Like, it just, modern brutalist architecture just looks a certain way. Let's do Thunder. Oh, we're out of magic for him. And we'll go stay at the end. Thunder does like no damage, but it will like raise your magic. I live in Des Moines, Iowa. The part of the... Yeah, Des Moines, I've been there. Yeah, Des Moines has a lot of... I mean, Des Moines is not a bad city. I've been there a couple times. I think I've been there twice. Here we go. We kill everybody in one hit. Did you just reference that Anti-Nowhere League song? Yes. You know, I only know about it because Metallica covered it, and their fan magazine back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, was called So What. So they had this fan magazine called So What. And they covered the song. That's the only reason I know about the song. It got like banned in England. So I actually have, I have some CD that has it on there. Back when back before the internet, you couldn't just get music. You like had to find it places. You had to find weird compilations that might have had it because you couldn't find the original album. It just didn't exist. But the pre-Napster days. And even when Napster was there, you couldn't find rare stuff on Napster. It was very hard for a long time to find until it got super popular, and then yeah, you could find some rare stuff. Let's make sure we save our game here. Follow Sparkling Ice Drinker. Yeah, I love this stuff. I buy the cases when they're on sale. I like the watermelon, but I can't drink the watermelon every time. You know? I'm an old punk. Yeah, we need to go back. It's like Donald Trump had some executive order that's like, we're going to have all of our architecture look good. And people are like, oh, why would Trump do this? It's like, does he really think these buildings look bad? And then people are showing pictures of the buildings and everyone's like, yeah, these look bad. They look like shit, dude. These look like garbage. They're just square boxes. There's no architecture there. I'm not going the right way, am I? I need to go around this way. I have to go talk to Sid, and you can walk. So I'll catch you guys up on the story. So I figured out that I need this Sunfire. So Sid told me I needed Sunfire. I asked around where to get it, and they basically said you need a goddess bell. So I asked Joseph back in that ice town, and he's like, "Oh, it's in the ice cave. I'll take you there." And so he joined the party, and then he sacrificed himself as we're leaving the ice cave with the goddess bell. And I think I lost the equipment that was on it. They do this in Final Fantasy IV as well. They like have characters like come in the party and then die and leave. I like the strawberry lemonade, but the cherry limeade is the best. I grew up just outside of Detroit. Obviously, the city itself is awful, but Michigan has some beautiful stuff to see. I agree. It's a shame we're attached to that horrible. Name the state that's not beautiful yet attached to a garbage city. Maybe the only one in the past was like Utah, where it's like Utah is beautiful and Salt Lake City is also nice. Now it's like Salt Lake City is a shithole, but Utah is really beautiful. Every state is like this. This is why Brian says you got to dig the moat. It's not just like, it's like dig the moat. Don't build a wall to Mexico. We'll do that too, but dig the moat around the cities so that the city people cannot come into the country and ruin it. It's like every bad place is a city now, and every good place is not the city. And I actually think this. Like, this is my hypothesis. I think cities make you crazy. All right. Yeah. So I think we have to go to... It's Kashuan. All right. You can't convince people they're living in hell if it doesn't look the part. Wait, was that supposed to be? Yeah. So, yeah, maybe government buildings should look bad so people know that the government is bad. Oh, there's the airship. So yeah, every city is like bad, and this is why white flight is a thing. It's like the cities get bad, and so anybody that can afford to leave does. You've got to get good at anticipating when your fourth party members are going to leave and unequip them. Yeah. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Eventually you end up with so much money, it just doesn't matter. I remember this as a thing in Dragon Age Origins. Is like they take their equipment with them when they die, when they leave the party. So like if you get to like the land speed and Alistair leaves the party, he'll walk away with like the super high tier armor that you put on him. I figured this out early in the game, and so early in the game there's a part where like I think 2 of your party members die and you lose their equipment. So you unequip them, and then in the cutscene they're naked. They're like standing there naked. The sunfire blazes brightly. Now, do we need the goddess spell to do this? Or is it... Nothing happens. No, I think we need the goddess spell to go through the door. I like how you can see airships fly across the sky in Final Fantasy II on the overworld. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. It's a good little touch in this version. I don't even mean the architecture, just the fact that every other house is burned out, graffiti everywhere, stuff like that. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's like that in LA. Like, you have these super expensive... It's the richest place in the Southern California. Yeah, they don't do anything. Let's see if they respond to the goddess spell. Next to people who literally have typhus and are spreading the plague. You know, it's bizarre, is the word. Keshuan Keep. Oh, here's a guy. I came to retrieve the sunfire. I thought I was the only one left who could open the door. I'd meant to look for Eggel's torch, but it's a monster's den in here. I can't keep going on my own. I can't return empty-handed. I don't know what to do next. You know your way around the keep, right? Do you think you could help us find our way through? I'm sorry. The keep is riddled with secrets. I wouldn't know my way around any better than you. But I do want to fight. Would you let me come with you? All right, we got a fourth party member, Gordon. Do we get to name him? Like, I think you only get to name permanent party members. So yeah, let's see what he's got. He's got garbage stats though. Here we go. And we'll give you a mithril. We have 2 mithril maces. Let's do a mithril spear. Give you a mithril shield. Leather cap. Alright. I have a feeling you're gonna get smoked in here though. I like this music though. Should kick out Cook City and make it an island on Lake Michigan. New York and LA could be turned into their respective escape movie versions. Yeah, I mean, that's... Like, I lived in LA, right? And I lived in a suburb called El Segundo, which is where the water treatment plant is. So it's like the more affordable beach city to live in. And, you know, a townhouse there was like $700, like an apartment, $750,000 to buy. Our rent was $2,200 per month. And that's like a city of white flight because you didn't want to be like in Norwalk where walking down the street while white meant you weren't walking down the street. You know, there's tons of places in LA you can't really go if you're white. Like Curetone. States should definitely inject their horrible cities into their own states. Detroit, New York City, Chicago. The problem is like the population is so skewed. You know, if California decided to just do one city at a time, like we're going to make LA its own state, you could probably do that. San Francisco would be like, we don't want LA. LA is dirty. And they'll kick it out. And then the Central Valley's like, San Francisco, you're gone too. And then you kick out the Bay Area and San Francisco and like, but we have all the tech. It's like, we have all the food. We don't really need, I mean, like, we will survive without cell phones. We have chickens and we have oranges and olives. Everything that's good is from here. You know? When in jolly old England, I always assume everyone is pissed or depressed. Unless the sun is down, then they're drunk. Like, really, really drunk. It's drunk. Pissed means drunk in England, by the way. It's what it means. So if you say you're pissed in England, it means you're drunk. Here in America, it means you're angry. Where are people's sense of self-decency and politeness? When I studied in London, if I said good morning to someone, they just stare at me. It's like that. I mean, it's so... if you want to know the difference, biggest difference between Texas and California, people from California come to Texas and they're like, why did everyone wave? Is there something on my face? People were waving at me. It's like, that's just the way people act here. You know, this is the way people act in Texas. Why is everyone saying hello? Because you're a fellow human being? You know? People still live in small towns in Texas. I'm from a small town, you know, where everybody knows everybody. And I live in a small town now in California, where everybody waves and everybody knows everybody. Not everybody. I mean, I don't know everybody, but, you know. Ogre Mage. You could probably just attack spam this guy. Maybe not. Oh, blind. Come on. Ah. Oh, we do have a Suna. We can cure that. We can get rid of that now. Alright. Let's try Thunder on these guys. Let's try Fire. I'm gonna do Asuna. Try it on everyone. Yeah, people in Texas are nice. You go into Texas as Drive Happy. California would have to be split into the coastal cities as a single state. Too many of them to split off all individually. Now, what you do is you do Southern California, which would be basically Southern California. And then you do Central Coast, which is going to be San Francisco, San Jose, etc. And then you do the rest of California. You call it Sierra. Sierra. Suna. There we go. Magic. Cure. Cure everybody. Now, see, the other problem with trying to break up California, just so you know, is that LA would have a major problem if the Central Valley were not part of California. Because LA doesn't have any of its own water. It gets all of its water from the Central Valley. And then the Central Valley basically is on perpetual drought watch because all of our rivers are being siphoned off and go off to LA County in San Bernardino County. The county of Kern County gets none of its own water to use. Kern County has to buy water from Northern California for its crops, while the Kern River, which has enough water for all of Kern County, gets literally piped off. It's up by my mom's house, actually. It gets piped off and sent over the mountains, pumped over the mountains into LA. And all the rivers in the eastern Sierra Nevadas, including ones that would run into Nevada, are dammed up and piped off into Southern California to provide for LA. I always wondered why, despite being 13% of the world, Europe is responsible for 100% of global conflicts. I also wonder why the world still looks up to them despite that mess up. I don't know. Opinions on state of Jefferson? The practical problems with the state of Jefferson really are just that. Like, I mean, I would approve of it. Of course, I'm for localism. Like, if you want to know my political opinions now, it's not really like libertarianism. It's really localism, which is to say people should be locally be able to determine their own destinies. So, of course, we should have smaller states that are more autonomous is the best thing to do. You know, that's the best thing to do. So state of Jefferson, yes. State of San Joaquin, yes. Or state of Sierra, yes. All those things are good. The problem is politically breaking them up. Because, like, LA, in a practical sense, it would become basically... LA would dry up well, it'd dry up in a literal sense, but it would also dry up in a metaphorical sense once water goes to being more expensive than gasoline. Because you can't, you know, the neighboring state suddenly has control over their own water rights again. Basically, Kern County is like an imperial province of LA and has to send it all its resources. I think these guys are weak to Blizzard. This guy has something going on here we're gonna have to cure. So yeah, I'm for those things, but oh, he's poisoned, but it's not going away. Usually it goes away. Interesting. I have that cure tome. I could teach Gordon cure. Because, well, everybody else knows cure, so he can cure himself right now. Look at that. Yeah, United. As long as Central Powers can project that power effectively, localism is a non-starter. Yeah, that's the. I mean, that's the problem. Is eventually like that. The system has to collapse for localism to take prescience, and it will eventually because you know that which cannot continue won't continue. You can count on something that's unsustainable to decay and go away. It's kind of like, you know, the problems with immigration will cease. Like, the problem is the solution. And this is something Varg said, and it's true. Regardless of what you think about Varg, he's right. Which is that once the system collapses, the foreigners just, they have no reason to be there if they are not collecting the, you know, if they basically are not collecting welfare and they're not existing in a society that forces to allow them to work. They'll just go home. You know, once the system collapses, they'll leave. They'll go somewhere else. They won't stay in your area because they don't really have a reason to. I'm not sure what works on this guy. Try Blizzard. See what it does. Pop a cure in there. Road to Serfton, yeah. Venom is temporary. Poison lasts after battle. Thank you. That's it. You know, so as... You know, if the welfare state of California, say, collapses prior to the overall state of the United States and doesn't get bailed out, then a lot of people would simply leave California because there's no more benefits to collect. And people don't realize that immigrants collect huge amounts of benefits. They're told over and over again that they don't, but they haven't seen it with their own eyes. If you know anything about immigrant communities, they collect massive amounts of benefits in ways that are usually either not counted or they are not part of. It's like illegal immigrants don't receive benefits. Like, the hell they don't. It's like I've known too many that do. Basically, they get paid cash under the table, which they don't declare. And then they get benefits for being poor, and then they buy cars cash and things like that. A lot of them live better than the native population as a result. But people don't see it. Like, the people in their white suburbs get told things on the news which they don't witness themselves, and they have no idea what the reality is because they're not farmers, you know, let's say, or they're not living or working in East LA or somewhere like that, one of these immigrant ghettos. You obtain 500 gil from the chest. They just don't know what's up. They're unaware of reality. So like when someone says, oh, illegal immigrants don't commit crimes or illegal immigrants don't collect welfare benefits, I'm like, that's directly contrary to the evidence of my senses. You know, the places that had the most crime were the places where all the illegal immigrants lived. Was it someone else coming in and committing the crimes? No. Does it mean all illegal immigrants are totally bad people? No, obviously not. But you know, when you're looking at a problem in its totality, it's really obvious what's going on. You know, they're relying on you to just simply not believe your senses more and more. You know, more and more what you see is something that you should basically ignore. Like, you should take the truth from what they say, not what your eyes tell you is the truth. Libertarians love that they can collect benefits line, even though CIS has done all kinds of research proving it. Yeah. Real libertarians will say, you know, you would solve the immigrant problem basically by eliminating welfare. Yeah, well, it's rather difficult to eliminate welfare because you have lots of people voting themselves welfare benefits. You know, welfare is not the easiest thing to get rid of, guys. 9, he hits for 9. Third worlders won't go back until the U.S. is fourth world. I don't know about that. There's obviously a break point. Like, they're here because it offers a benefit over where they're from. Now, some third worlders, like, really won't go... It's not that they just won't go back. They'll go somewhere else. Where they feel like they can get something better. So it's going to get rough. I agree with Brian that it'll get rough. You know, the problem is the solution's really a black pill. Uh-oh. Rats. Literally rats. Let's clear them out. Do you think the amendment that allows free travel between states should be removed? Would so many problems be fixed if states had total control over who enters and lives in their state? That's an interesting thought. In a practical sense, we actually already don't have that. We actually don't have free movement between the states. If you come to California, you have to submit to an inspection to enter California. To me, that's not free movement at all. That doesn't qualify. Hope you're all well. Hey, hope that you and your family are safe. We are safe. It's very stormy here tonight, but we're doing good. Most Americans don't understand what state actually means. State means country. Before Lincoln destroyed the Republic Federation, states had their own unique paper dollars and military uniforms. They did. They were like, you know, it was something between, you know, until the Constitution, really until the 1790s, there was a bunch of little countries. And then they became a stronger federation, and then they became an empire after Lincoln. I mean, we definitely fit the classical definition of empire very, like very concretely. Golden shield. Well, that's the same as a mithril shield. So we don't really need that, do we? Unless it has like you do something special. Oh, resistant to poison. Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing. Alright. I talked to a guy last week who seriously said we should trust computer models over our own eyes. Yeah, I mean, that's... You're preaching to the choir to me. So, like, computer models are supposed to be predictive. This is the thing about global warming, too. People are, like, afraid of global warming. Well, when the computer models are capable of predicting the weather, then I'll take them seriously. That hasn't happened yet. I remember someone was like, well, in this 1 year, they managed to get this % close. It's like they still didn't predict the weather by any reasonable standard. But even if they did, they haven't done it since. There's no, you know, they're not predicting anything. So if a model is not effectively predictive, for instance, you know, you have a model for how fast things will fall in free fall. You know, you have an equation for determining at what point, you know, friction meets its acceleration and you have terminal velocity. That's predictive. It works. You know, you throw a ball up in the air, you expect it to fall down. That's predictive. If something isn't predictive, there's really no point to take it seriously. So I just take a step back. It's like, hey, if the climate scientists really knew what they were doing, then they'd deliver models which predicted the weather accurately. They don't. Weather's hard to predict. You know, I made a joke about that with NASA not being able to predict the weather despite spending billions on trying to. They couldn't predict the weather a few days in advance. How are they predicting the weather years in advance? They're not. And people got all upset. They're like, it's hard to launch a spaceship. I'm like, I didn't say it was easy. I said NASA's bad at predicting the weather. Is your opinion what's better, PC games or PS games? PC game. I mean, PC is the superior platform always, but it's expensive. So PC gaming versus say PlayStation gaming or console gaming, you're looking at different things. So the benefit of console gaming is that when you buy the console, you basically have a set arrangement of hardware that all the software is guaranteed to work for that hardware. So when you buy a piece of software, it works on that hardware at a certain level, and Sony and Microsoft both will certify games to be published on their platform. This is why Cyberpunk 2077 on the PS4 and the Xbox were controversial, is because they didn't run. So that just means that Xbox did not do a good job certifying this thing on their platform. PC is variable. You can decide how much you want to spend on the hardware or don't want to spend on the hardware. And it therefore requires a lot more fiddling. And most people don't want to do all that fiddling. They want something to work. They want to be able to put the game in and have it work. So if you're one of those people, then the console is definitely superior. If you want to pay a limited amount of money as an upfront investment, $500 to buy a PlayStation 5 or whatever, and then you know that for the next 5 years, all the software is going to work, there's a big benefit to that. If you're a person who wants to spend more money, because PCs are just going to be more expensive, and they're generally more expensive because the hardware is better. Like, you pay more and you get more. My PC right now, I think, is 5 or 6 years old at this point. I think I built it a little bit over 5 years ago. It's still better than a PlayStation 5. It still runs better. It's still going to run games better than a PlayStation 5. That's saying something. I bought ahead of the curve. But so the PC is technically superior, but you're always going to have to do lots of little things to make it work. You'll have to adjust the settings here and there. And then, this game looks good, but this game doesn't look good. That's basically what you end up with. So those are the big differences. You want to spend more money and you want to get more and have better graphics, totally go PC. And you're willing to fiddle with stuff all the time. You're willing to have stuff not work. You're willing to do your research on how to build a good system or buy a good system, then totally, PC's better. PC also has the advantage of the games are cheaper. They just are. It's easier to get them, but you're only going to really get digital games at this point. If you want to have an upfront investment and be sure all the software's going to work, console's better. And then the last thing I'd say is console's really just a different experience. I have a PlayStation 4, and I like to play it if I want to sit on the couch and play a game, and relax. It's a different experience. Mithril Axe. Well, that's good. I think I want to give him a Mithril Axe. He was using an axe before, so we'll use the Mithril Axe. Werebuster. Let's see what that is. Oh, it's a mace. A spiked mace effective against werebeasts. Well, who do I want to give it to? I guess I could give it to Marisu. That'd be a pretty good upgrade for her. We'll give it to her. And then Mithril Sword. Okay. We're good. PC Master Race folks may just want to make sure they're sitting down. I just want to play games. Yeah, so that's the advantage of consoles. You put the game in and it freaking works. The other thing too is it really is, the hardware is a way cheaper upfront investment. And here's the last thing I'll say. So I think it's way more relaxing to sit down and play a PlayStation game with the TV. But something I've realized is that the Steam sale thing actually occurs on the consoles as well if you pay attention. There's sales that happen on the PlayStation Store all the time, and I have a big digital collection on the PlayStation that I've acquired for very little money, because it's you could get the Devil May Cry collection for $6 and it has like 8 games in it. And you're like, shoot, that seems like a deal. Yeah, you're not going to have modular consoles because you want the software to be directed towards a certain hardware arrangement, so that when you're developing for it, everybody has a similar experience. You don't want people calling you up and be like, "Why can't my PlayStation run this game?" You know, so PS4, PS4 Pro, there's no games that only run on the PS4 Pro. Now, Nintendo's done this with like the new 3DS. The new 3DS, there was a small catalog of games that only ran on the new 3DS, like 8 or 10 games. They did it like the games that only ran on the Game Boy Color. Games that only ran on the DSi. Now that's the stairs up, but I bet you there's more chests. I don't want to get them. It freaking works. Cyberpunk, yeah, that's the problem with, that's the controversy of Cyberpunk 77 is people bought it. That's part of buying on a console is that you expect the software to be at a certain level. Really, Sony shouldn't have certified it, and they took it off. You know, I think they understood that that was not the right thing to do. People expected a better experience than what they got. And CD Projekt Red really just should have released it for the newer consoles. They should have just said, you know what? This will be a system seller for PlayStation. They should have gone in with them and been like, hey guys, we're going to only release this on the new consoles, so, you know, you should hype this up. Hype it up, and, you know, maybe we'll cut some kind of deal, you know, where like we can do a pack-in or something with the spring version of the PlayStation 5. And tons of people would have bought a Cyberpunk-themed PS5 with like a pack-in Cyberpunk 2077. Random encounters. But yeah, you actually can get a lot of cheap digital games, and now that people have big hard drives and stuff, it's not, you know, it's not as big a deal as it once was. Okay, there's no more loot. I just walked around in a circle for no reason. The devs told CDPR it'd be done by 2022. I believe it. Hit him with our magic. The management wanted that 2020 Christmas rush. Yeah, KOTOR 2 had that, where they were like, yeah, it'll be done in spring. And they're like, well, it's coming out in December. Okay, I guess we're cutting like a whole bunch of stuff to make this game come out. It's something we realized when we bought KOTOR 2 way back in the day, was like it was unfinished. It was an unfinished, buggy mess when it came out. How about the Steam Link? I haven't connected mine. Steam Link works. My brother-in-law has one and it works great, but he doesn't use it all that much because it's, you know, if you're a family man, it's like the TV's always being used by someone else. It's kind of how it is. Ooh, Blind Tome. It's items. Blind. That's pretty sweet. We have Sleep. Who doesn't know it? Maybe Sam can learn it. Right. And then Blind. Alright. It's probably good. No, it already came out of here. Dang it! Whoa! My magic is gonna be pretty depleted at the end of this. Here, let's do Blizzard, because it doesn't cost that much. And it hits the turtles hard, I think. And I think his Blizzard hits a little harder. I don't have any, like, ethers either, so if I run out of magic, it's gonna get a little rough. Yeah, restored content mod. Yeah, they had to cut a bunch of stuff. Really sucks. The game they teased in 2013 was completely abandoned in 2016. They restarted from scratch. In Halo 2, they were working on it right up till it hit shelves. I prefer consoles since I could still buy physical. Yes. The problem with modern consoles is that the physical is really just like an unlock key, and then it installs it to your hard drive and patches it on day one. You know, and I appreciate that physicals still exist, but at some point, like 20 years from now, you like get a copy of Spider-Man for PS4 and you pop it in your vintage PlayStation, your retro PlayStation 4, and it like can't be played because the servers are down. You know, the last console that played off of discs was the Wii U. So the Wii U is actually, as far as home consoles go, is the last physical medium home console. Even the Switch, there's lots of games that run, but not all of them. A lot of them are download the patch kind of games. So that's the only problem with modern stuff. I appreciate that. Now, there's another benefit to digital, like, you know, I have a lot of digital games on the Vita. I could store my whole game library, basically, on an SD card now because of the way technology's advanced. And I can pretty much do that for, like, the GameCube. In fact, I have like, my Wii U SD card. You pop it in, I can just put my whole GameCube collection on it. What I'm trying to do with my 3DS is rip all of my games and put them on the SD card. I got a huge SD card for it. That way, because my son has lost some of the games. He's lost like two of my games, and like they're both Fire Emblem games, and so like they're my favorite games for the system. And I don't know what happened to them. They might be lost in the couch. They might have fallen in the car or fallen. I don't know. So I want games like that. You know, I want to be able to have my son be able to play a game, if that's okay, and then you know, not worry about losing my whole game library. So it's there, you know. And then I have the physicals at home safe. So if something happens to the console, I still have physicals in some way I can play. So I kind of have the best of both worlds there. Yeah, let's do full magic here. F for Fire Emblem. The Wii, not the Wii U, is actually a great whole household gaming system. Yeah. Game library is really large. You know, the Wii as a control, their control system of the Wii is like bad, but there's enough games that kind of makes up for it, and you could play all of those virtual console games. It's really not a bad system. The Wii U is superior because it does everything the Wii does, except do GameCube discs. But you could still play the GameCube ISOs. You do have to mod your VWii to do it, but it's really not that hard. So, you know, the Wii U is a pretty awesome system for that. But I still might put all of my games on a hard drive on my Wii U for the reason that, like, I have kids and maybe they're not as careful with golden armor. Monster in a box! Whoa! Look at these guys. These guys like to explode. Oh, and they hit hard too. So let's hit them hard. See what fire does. Have you seen the new Resident Evil 8 game trailer? It's an FPS like 7, but this time it seems to have a heavy emphasis on vampires and werewolves. Also, which two Resident Evil games are your favorite? I like Resident Evil 2 and 4 are probably my favorite. So, Resident Evil 2 was was really cool, and it really had a great atmosphere. Golden armor. And oh man, he's still wearing like copper. There we go. There we go. And we'll fix that. Let's go this way. Let's see what's this way. We'll kind of swing through these ogres. Casting animation looks like they're scolding their enemies. Yeah. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. They're thinking of the spell. KOTOR 1 or KOTOR 2? I haven't played KOTOR 2 since it came out. KOTOR 1 I thought was way better. But there's people who really like KOTOR 2. At the time that it came out, we really didn't like it, and we thought it was a really bad game. Mallet. Let me sell some of this stuff. Mallet. Cures amnesia. Okay. Okay. Antidote. This is some, like, eye drops. Good things. I'd say the best thing for CD Projekt Red to do would be to recall the game and go back into full development. Finish the game so it actually resembles the trailers, then re-release it finished. I don't think that's going to be an option for them, though. That may be the correct thing to do, but it's... I don't think, for practical reasons, that's going to happen. My expectation. Alright. Okay. I'm almost done with this stream. I've exceeded 45 minutes, so I'm gonna see if I can get to the next 4, and then I'll probably call it here. Even though there's probably like a little story or something that I like to get to, but oh well. Another blind tome, so we can have someone else learn blind. And it's not a big deal if, like, you run out of magic space. You can only do 16 spells, I think. You can just drop one that you feel like you don't need. And keep going. Call it Cyberpunk 2077 rebooted. You know, actually, there is precedent for that. And that's Final Fantasy 14. So Final Fantasy 14, when it launched, was like a pile of garbage. I really wanted to play it. I was so excited because I loved the aesthetics. And, like, I was like, oh, man, it's going to be rad. And then, like, it came out and it was bad. And it, like, you know, you could only do so many quests per day. It was really weird. And it was just a big empty world where you were, like, running through corridors with nothing to do. Oh, a sleep tone and a warp tone. Man, we're getting, like, everything here. And so they took it down. It was so bad, they even did an event where they, like, destroyed the original game world. You can't play the original Final Fantasy XIV. I think it would be fun for just kind of shits and giggles if they opened up a server to just play the final version of the game. You know, but they took it down and they remade the game. They made a new game, and they apologized to the fans and everybody who bought it, and everybody who bought it got like a year free of the new one. And they did it. They took it down and they redid the entire game. So there is precedent for that, but I think asking, I just don't know how possible it would be with CD Projekt. My friend argued that the UN Security Council is the worst, most destructive terrorist organization the world has ever had. I can't say I disagree. What are your thoughts? I think the UN causes more bloodshed and destruction. Did I go backwards? I think I went backwards, right? I need to be going up, not down. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the UN in general. I think the UN it's just a bureaucracy that's used to funnel money from the first world to like dictators and stuff in third worlds, and it really isn't useful. Yeah, the Japanese are better at taking ownership of failure. They did that with Nintendo. Like, Nintendo was down on the rocks and they refused to, like, cut back on their devs. They're like, games are why people play are why people like our systems. You know, we're not going to give up on games. Maybe I do go down. I'm not sure now. Stupid blue helmets. Yeah, I think there's a culture of pride in one's work that comes from Japan, and pride in the craft that dictates it's probably... Is Marisu empty-handed? No, she has the Werebuster. It just doesn't have a graphic, I guess. Yeah, I already came this way. See if I can just, like, beat down the... No, I have to use magic. Oh, no, he can hit it. Alright. Maybe we can beat it down. Oh, raise our shield level. The UN definitely does more harm than good. Yeah, I mean, people were like, oh, if we can just create some sort of bureaucracy that will, like, keep people from, you know, doing war with each other, there'll be no more war. It's been plenty of war since World War II. World War II was not the war to end all wars, apparently. Oops. Let's do Blizzard. Can I ask you as an American, what do you think of Brexit? I did a whole video on it. I approve of Brexit in general. Mostly because I don't like the EU, and I view the EU... The EU is basically a supranational empire that functions like that and wants to have its own armies and things like that. You don't want to be part of that. With more and more power being ceded to the EU against the interests of the local countries. In the case of Great Britain, you know, against their general interests. So maybe you do go back down. I thought I came this way. Brexit's great. It was the start of the populist wave against the establishment swooping the West. What the EU is doing now is more proof that the EU is evil. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the EU. So I think it's good if you can get out of the EU to not be in the EU. Especially because your currency is tied to a central bank that's outside of your control. You know, that's the big one, is that the whole thing like, oh, everyone can use one currency. It basically pulls all governments into a single central banking scheme. So that, you know, you saw the problems with like Greece and like Greek austerity, this sort of stuff. Is really just pulling everyone into a central banking scheme. We're running out of magic here. Yeah, what they're trying to do, the British, is revenge for people choosing to leave. Like, you didn't want to be part of our central banking scheme. Get out of here. You know, they let a couple countries in without being part of the Eurozone. You know, England was already half in, half out already. So I guess we do go down this way. But I probably need to call it here. Yeah, it should have happened immediately. It's like, oh, well, all these people who were pro-Brexit were some of the most brainwashed people. The people who were, like, really for it. They're like, it's going to be awful. Our economy's going to collapse, and all these bad things will happen, and, you know, we won't get any more science funding. I was like, science funding? What are you talking about? we need the EU to fund science. More cult of scientism. UN made war easier. All you have to do is simply not declare war, and you can do everything related to war. That's how we get BS stuff like peacekeeping force. Yeah, the U.S. has not declared war since World War II. Technically, we've been at peace. The eagle has faced the olive branch since 1945. We've never been at war. And if you're asking yourself, how could that be? How could it be that with all these wars we've had, none of them counted as wars? You went out and fought a war, but the Congress never declared war. You know, it was peacekeeping activities, or it was, you know, Clinton just bombed Kosovo into the freaking dirt to distract people from him getting BJs in his office. You know, he distracted the country from no, I've already gone this way. from an extramarital affair. I was going the right way. I turned around and went the wrong way. Okay, oh my gosh. Adamantoise. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to get out of here. What's your opinion on the 6.5 Creedmoor versus 308? I've never shot a 6.5 Creedmoor, so I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't have one. I've never shot one. I have several 308s. They're good. Did you see the /biz post by the guy who uses GameStop as a bank? No, I didn't. Yeah, Thunderfoot's always liked my science, but whatever. That's his shtick. I am out of magic. This is gonna be bad, guys. I'm gonna have to start like running from encounters. Not from these guys. These guys we can tough it out. Korea, Vietnam, and all that happened in the Middle East weren't just wars. Yeah, they were just, you know, security activities or this or that or operations. They're never war. It's like, you can't, and that's going to be the next thing is like, you can't call it endless war because it's not a war. If it was war, we would have declared war, guys. You can trust us. Alright, I went through all this stupid keep. I got all turned around. At least these guys are not adamantoise. Alright, I really need to call it. I'm out of time. Let me just get to the next floor so I'm not confused. I'm all confused. This was the way I was supposed to go. Department of War, tried Department of Defense. Newspeak is real. I talked about that in a video on Newspeak. You know? And I've had a lot of bros from like, oh, there's a fire here. Gordon! I heard there was a monster guarding Eggel's torch. Now I've seen it with my own eyes. A red soul. Alright. I'm guessing it's going to be weak to Blizzard, but I don't have the magic to do it, so we're going to attack it. And if we have to, we can use Antarctic Wind. Oh, he's casting Blizzard. Oh my gosh. Watch me have to like redo this whole dungeon. I'll try that Antarctic Wind. Actually, I could probably do damage. Antarctic Wind? There we go. You can do 8 damage to it. And he's doing ice damage, which is weird. Okay, that healed him. So ice heals him. That's weird. So I just healed him for a bunch. Yeah, we're does he have enough magic to do fire? No. So we'll do thunder. Try fire. Okay, magic heals him. All magic heals him. Well, this is an interesting twist. I guess we just have to, like, do very little damage to him or something here. Clearly, he does absorb all magic. See if we can hit him hard enough to actually kill him. Here. We have to start using our potions and stuff. Which is fine. That's why you have them. Potion. It's just like my weapons aren't really doing any damage either. If I had magic to like do Berserk, that might be nice. We'll just use potions. How much does a potion actually restore? I want 308 rifles, AR-10. AR-10's cool. It's the original. It served Finland well. I think Finland was the first country to actually use it. Let's heal... Let's heal you, dude. We'll get him down. It'll just take a little while. All my 308s are bolt action. They say the 6.5 Creedmoor is essentially a 308 with a better ballistic coefficient. But the 308 ammo is easier to find. Although 6.5 fanboys say 6.5 is more mainstay. I don't think so. I don't think it's more mainstay. I have 6.5 SPC, which is okay. I have it set up in a pig gun, so that works. I mean, it's good for shooting pigs. I'll tell you that much. Let's see. Top you off. One of those new Savage straight pull bolt actions in 308 Winchester. I haven't even thought about buying like new guns in so long. I'm out of like whatever is new. Most of what I did was historical firearms anyway. Just didn't really worry about. There we go. We got a bunch of level ups here. Bunch of MP increases, magic increases. Eggel's torch, obtained from the chest. Sweet. Alright, now I think we have to walk all the way back, huh? Alright, I'm gonna call it there. Rather than like walk all the way back through this this keep for the stream. Anyway, I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out for a while. I will see you guys next time. Keep fighting the good fight. Have a good one. 37 gil. That's what I got for him. In-game maps and current gaming, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully I got all that stuff in there. Yeah, alright, it's ARs are Armalite rifles. The AR-15 is a scaled down AR-10, just so you know. The AR-10 is the first one. They're both good. Alright, have a good one.